I just cannot ignore the review requests anymore, which we all know that those are all drop shipping. Those are all over Aliexpress. I do feel like that compressive lift. Why am I gonna pay attention to this brand? Like, couldn't I just put on a pair of leggings that doesn't injure me? Kind of falling for the yellow outfit, guys. Prepare to feel the biggest wedgie of your life. This is probably my most highly requested review in a long time, and I have been avoiding this review for so long to the point where I literally filmed an entire video about a year ago, edited it, uploaded it to YouTube and everything. I just kept it on private because of reasons that we will talk about. So today we are reviewing the brand Dfyne. This brand has really taken off within the past couple years. They definitely have a cult following, and you probably have seen their impact leggings. They are seamless leggings known for having like a glute lift effect. I have actually reviewed and talked about their leggings a couple times on the channel before, but never reviewed them like specifically in its own video. So here we are. So they started back in like 2021, and I feel like I started getting requests to review them not that long after, maybe like 2023. And I always just kind of ignored the review requests because they seemed just like a drop shipping brand, specifically because I saw some of the leggings that they had, and I literally had already owned them from like Amazon and Aliexpress. And there are a lot of dropshipping white labeling brands out there, but over the years they have kind of expanded a little bit, and I just cannot ignore the review requests anymore. This brand sells out quite quickly, so I kind of shopped when there wasn't a launch. So it was a little slim pickings, if you know what I mean. So we will actually be reviewing all of the pieces, but before we do that, let's get into why I avoided reviewing this brand for so long and why I never published that video. So first of all, I'm going to insert a little section of the video that I had originally filmed that gives a little background to what dropshipping and white labeling is. White labeling and dropshipping. You've probably heard these terms thrown around at some point, but you may not understand what they mean. If a brand is a dropshipping brand, they receive orders from you, the customer. They never have any of their product actually in their own possession. They basically forward that order to their warehouse or manufacturer, often, which usually is in China, not always. Then that manufacturer overseas ships the product to the consumer. We did talk about this in my recent TikTok shop video. Sometimes you can get these dropshipped items for really cheap, but other times brands really hike up the price and then keep a lot of that profit for themselves, and it costs them basically nothing to do that. Something kind of similar that we often see in activewear is called white labeling. This is when a brand buys a generic item, such as a legging, from one of these overseas manufacturers, usually through something like Alibaba, Aliexpress. They purchase from that manufacturer, they put a logo on it, and then they sell it to you, the consumer. That just means they are buying a stock legging, something that they did not design, something that they did not come up with. The only unique value that they added is adding a logo. And now let's go through my timeline with Dfyne and Aliexpress leggings. So if you guys have been around since the beginning, I used to review a lot of Aliexpress activewear. I'm an affordable activewear girly. Aliexpress has a lot of affordable activewear. But when you scroll all the way back in their history, first of all, I see they post in these little ribbed sets, which if you guys remember my OG Napoa Gym videos, I had those rib sets in like 2019, and their Instagram started around 2021. So that's when they started posting in those. And again, we can draw whatever conclusions we want, but I had those in 2019. They started posting those in 2021. It does kind of feel like white labeling dropshipping. They also had the original fishnet TikTok leggings, which we all know that those are all dropshipping. Those are all over Aliexpress. I've seen brands try to sell those leggings for like $90, and you can literally find them on Aliexpress for $10. So they had those as well. And then also, if you're an OG on this channel, you guys will know the OG Suuksess leggings, the first scrunch seamless leggings that I had seen after Alphalete Amplifies. And these were like my #1 selling legging on Amazon for so long. I got these in February of 2021. And then I'm starting to see the first posts of these leggings, aka the Dfyne dynamic leggings, in September, October of 2021. So again, if I had these on Amazon in February of that year, whenever you see something on Amazon, it's on Aliexpress much sooner than that. And then it was another like 6 to 7 months before they were starting to post that on Dfyne. So again, with these OG leggings, all signs point to dropshipping white labeling. And I'll insert a little comparison of my OG Suuksess leggings from Amazon to the Dfyne dynamic leggings from that original video that I never posted. So with a lot of the original Dfyne pieces, I had already had those pieces before I had ever seen Dfyne posting about them or anything. So again, who came first? I cannot say absolutely for certain, but for me, that's why I never really bothered to pay them any attention, because I was like, okay, they have the Suuksess leggings that I've had since before they ever even had them, and then they're posting in other like classic AliExpress type pieces. Why am I gonna pay attention to this brand? But then the reason why I actually never posted the video is because brands can definitely change. We've seen this with other brands like Paragon. There are brands that definitely start out as dropshipping, white labeling, and then they move on to designing their own pieces. And that's where the famous Dfyne impact leggings come in, because you can find these impact leggings on Amazon, on Aliexpress. I have a pair from Aliexpress that were like $13 that are the exact same as the Dfyne impact leggings. Okay, and here are the Dfynes, here are the Aliexpress, and I do not see any differences. The waistbands are the same height. We have that denser detail all the way down the leg, and you can see these are the exact same color. The fabric is exactly the same, and the Aliexpress ones have that more knitted style scrunch. So we can see those are the same here. This is the first time I've seen this type of scrunch on an Aliexpress legging. Still got the glutes out patched there, or out pouched if you will. And here's the front. We can see the three-tiered waistband, and keep in mind, if they're sitting a little bit differently, I have tried these on and worn them, and I have not with these, but we still have that contour detail. Like these are the exact same little measurements. So I think it's safe to say that these are exactly the same. But with the impact leggings specifically, I'm honestly not sure who came first. I can't really find a definitive timeline. Like with the dynamic, I had these before Dfyne ever posted in them, but I did not get these until after Dfyne had really kind of made this legging famous. I will say there are other brands who are also kind of famous for this exact legging. Like Keep That Pump also has this exact style of legging that also makes them popular. And then when it comes to certain Dfyne colors, their tops, bras, I cannot find exact examples of them on AliExpress. We've talked about this before, but the AliExpress search feature, something you should always use when you're unsure of a brand. You're not sure if they're dropshipping, white labeling or not. You just take a screenshot, you put it into the Aliexpress app, and it'll pop up with a bunch of listings. If you're not seeing anything exactly the same, then it's probably not dropshipping. And again, it's not always a definitive answer. I feel like in my first Dfyne video that I never posted, I felt like things were changing a lot right around the time where I filmed it to now where I feel like they do have original pieces. So all of that to say, I know that's kind of wishy-washy, but that's because I don't have all the answers. I don't know if their items are dropshipped. My personal opinion is that I think that they were in the past, but I'm not really sure currently. So you guys can let me know what you think down in the comments. If any of you guys have been following this a little bit more closely than me and you have some more answers, but that is why I've been avoiding reviewing Dfyne. I will put the links to my OG Suuksess leggings and the AliExpress dynamic leggings. Again, I don't really believe these are dupes. Who came first, the chicken or the egg? If they came first, it's not a dupe. So without further ado, we have a bunch of actual Dfyne pieces that we are finally going to review today. So a little bit about my order experience with Dfyne. So far, I have ordered from them a couple times and I've had a really great order experience. I believe they have free shipping over a certain amount, but I've always spent a good amount, so I haven't really worried about that. Their sports bras are around $40 to $45 and their leggings are around $60. So kind of in that mid-range price point. And they definitely focus on seamless items, especially like compressive seamless items. The size range is around extra small to extra large. I believe they're based in the UK as well, but they always ship via DHL, so it comes really fast. And they have a 100-day return policy. Love to see that, because I don't know about you guys, but sometimes when there's a 30-day return policy, I kind of like don't even try anything on for the first 30 days. So sometimes I miss that. So I like that they have the 100-day return policy. So far customer service and order experience have been good. Let's start off with their famous leggings, the impact leggings. Again, I did buy a pair from the Nakai store on AliExpress last year. One of my OG favorite AliExpress sellers. Do you guys want me to do another AliExpress review coming up? Because I used to do them all the time, but honestly, it just like got really difficult to order that many things from AliExpress. But I kind of miss them. I still wear a lot of my Napoleon tops all the time. Anyways, because I have had these for so long and I have worn them to the gym, never posted about them, but I hated wearing these to the gym. These leggings are so popular and I feel like I've never actually had a pair of leggings be so popular that I personally just really did not like. But everyone has different personal preferences. I just think these don't really work for my body. So let's start out with the Dfyne impact leggings. I got a size small. These are $59. One thing I also am not a huge fan of with Dfyne is the addition of like several logos. So like if you have a logo here, why do I need it on the back? I don't need it in two places. I'm all about minimalism when it comes to logos. They're also just little vinyl logos that just kind of peel off, and we know how I feel about those. There are 3 tiers of compression here. The waistband is sewn onto the body of the leggings. In the back, the waistband waistband is sewn on in a slight V shape. And then you have this very unique scrunch situation. I don't love the scrunch because it's very stiff. It has absolutely no give to it. And it's also a little wider than something like an Alphalete Amplify scrunch. So it's just very visible. And for me, I have a really hard time getting the scrunch actually up between my cheeks. And I always talked about this with the original Suuksess leggings, but if you feel like you have a wedgie in Alphalete Amplifies, prepare to feel the biggest wedgie of your life with this scrunch, because this has even less give to it than something like an Honor Active Effortless Seamless or an Alphalete Amplify. It's just a very unique scrunch design. And then the fabric around the glutes is extra stretchy and lightweight, so it doesn't squish your glutes down. But then right under the glutes, you have this more compressive region. So I showed these leggings in my shapewear leggings video because they're kind of meant to like push your glutes up, but I never really feel like I get much of a glute lift with these. I don't know if I'm the only one. The fabric in general is also this very structured seamless, so it's very, very durable, but also just a little bit heavy and can be a little bit restrictive. So you kind of have that trade-off. It has the durability and it has that compression, but you don't get that endless stretch. And personally, I value stretch more than that compression and durability. And they're made of a 90% nylon, 10% elastane. Let's try them on. Okay, I'm literally already out of breath. This is how getting on these leggings is. I don't have the energy to do a full workout getting leggings on before I even go to the gym. And these leggings are the hardest leggings that I've ever had to get on. They're like up there with the Lazuli Sculpt Seamless. Like literally I get rug burn on my hands every time I get these on. And I'm just like, is it worth it? You know, like, couldn't I just put on a pair of leggings that doesn't injure me as I put them on? So it's really about working it up section by section. But because the material is just, it's so compressive and frankly stiff, it's just so hard to get on. My little pinkies are rubbed raw just trying. So, okay, let me check back in with you when they're fully on. So here they are. I feel like they're higher rise than I remembered. When I did wear these to the gym, they ended up kind of settling on more of a mid-rise. So definitely a shorter rise option for my shorter torso girlies. We have that 3-tiered compressive waistband. Because it doesn't come up very high in the front, you do get some lower tummy control with that waistband being so compressive. And then the just entirety of the legging is really compressive and frankly kind of stiff. Like I do feel tightness in my knees, and that's just something I really don't like in a gym legging. I really like something stretchier where I can move around in it more comfortably. So overall, high compression. I was able to get these on, but they are obviously not easy to do so. We have the Dfyne vinyl on the side here, and then we can see that little glute contour area, which leads us into the back. So we have some seams that come right above the glutes. We have that scrunch, and again, it is a wider scrunch than usual, so I do feel like you definitely see it, and it doesn't like sit all the way between the cheeks. Like with an Alphalete Amplify, an Honor Active Effortless, you can pull the fabric enough into the glutes so that it does fully hide, but with this, because the fabric is so dense, this is kind of as settled as I can get it. So keep that in mind if you hate to see that scrunch in the middle. The fabric on the cheeks is stretchier than the rest. So this is a low compression, then everything else is a high compression. And then you also get good cellulite coverage because of this dense fabric right in the thigh area. And then it always comes up on people a little bit onto their glutes, which I guess is better than being too low and creating a double butt, but I always feel like I see this. I still will give them a high on the booty scale, but for some reason I just prefer how my glutes look in a traditional scrunch seamless legging rather than these. I just feel like there's something just a little bit off that doesn't maybe fit my body type quite right. But I just see people absolutely rave about these leggings, and I have given them a couple tries now, and I just don't have that feeling. So obviously difference in body type. I think people who prefer really compressive leggings, who are maybe have a shorter torso, shorter glutes, like these leggings if you really like that under glute compression. But in my opinion, they're pretty uncomfortable to work out in. You really feel that scrunch more than any other scrunch legging that I've tried because it's just so stiff. Like you really feel that wedgie. I feel crotch tightness because the seams just need a little bit more stretch. I feel knee tightness. So yeah, they're just not really for me. Let's do a full length view. I'll put the end seam at the end of the screen as usual, but I'm getting about an ankle length. So let me know what you guys think of these leggings if you've tried them. I know a lot of you have, but I feel like I'm missing something. Maybe I'm crazy and you guys are gonna tell me this is the best my butt's ever looked. I don't know, but let me know. Okay, we're getting Ian to come rate these leggings. What do you think of the leggings? These are very popular leggings, by the way.
Leggings aren't bad. That's not the part that I was.
Well, what do you think about the leggings?
Like, what am I supposed to?
Just overall.
They're fine. I mean, the color's nice. The band's a little meh, but.
Whoa.
Slow it down there, guys. I would say it's pretty good, yeah. It's like high on the booty scale.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, the bands up, the top is what's very not good.
Yeah, it's
very not good, not very good.
So maybe I'm crazy and it does make my butt look good. I don't know. Next, we have the Dfyne Impact Sports Bra. Something about Dfyne is a lot of their sports bras are definitely more low coverage, light support, not a lot for the larger busted girlies. So just keep that in mind. This is meant to go with the Impact leggings, and it is a halter. I don't love halters. I prefer to avoid them if I can, but we have that durable, seamless material, removable cups, halter neckline. There is a little more dense seamless panel that goes in the middle of the bust for a little bit of a separation to avoid that uniboob, and then there is a sewn ribbed bra band that goes along the bottom. Here's an up close of some of those little details. And this is one of the pieces when I was doing my original review that I was trying to look for this on Aliexpress with the search feature, and I was never able to find it. So it kind of supports the idea that Dfyne is doing their own stuff. Here is the Impact bra. Just not really loving this one. I just don't really love halters, and I also hate like a logo on the front. It's just like so in your face. So we have that little sewn band below the bust, removable cups. The cups aren't great. They are just like a little bit too structured for my liking. Overall low to medium coverage, pretty scooping in the neck. I think I'd be okay with this at the gym, but not a ton of coverage and not super large cup size friendly. Definitely best for smaller busts. Here's a close-up of the pad. Definitely a little thick and a little thick at the edges too. It works because it's a seamless top, but if this were on like a thinner material, this pad would probably be a little bit too structured. We have that halter strap. I'm glad that the halter strap is made out of the slightly softer seamless material, so it's not like a itchy ribbed going around the neck. The support is on the low side. We do have that little kind of contoured area between the bust. Doesn't do a lot, but it's a little something, and then a little bit at the side as well. And then they love their halters, so very open in the back. I wanted to get a different sports bra from them, but I was kind of limited on my options because they were sold out of a lot of stuff. So this is what I got. Just not my favorite. I also just don't really love the way that the halter strap is attached there. I just feel like it's a little bit bulky. So this one's definitely not bad, just not something that I would normally pick. Next, I really wanted to try some of their longer Impact shorts. And these are another thing. I've not really seen these shorts on Amazon, Aliexpress, or anything, but these are the Impact 6.5 inch shorts. These were $55. The only color that was in stock in my size was this bright yellow, but at least she's different. Not many people do yellow bottoms because they tend to be sheer. Will these be sheer? Probably a little bit. So the exact same structure as the Impact leggings. We have that triple compression waistband sewn onto the body of the leggings. We have a logo in the front and in the back. We have that scrunch, that lighter weight, these little booty out pouchings, I like to call them. And then personally, I'm always a longer inseam short girly, especially when it comes to seamless scrunch leggings, because you do kind of gather some of that fabric up and around the glutes. So it's nice to have a little bit of extra length here. And I've seen some people say that they prefer the shorts to the leggings. I always find shorts a little bit easier to get on just because there's not as much dragging them down. So hopes are high. Let's try these on. Okay, I wanted to show me getting these on because they're tight in the legs, but that's what they're supposed to be. So I've been like wanting to get some actual, I feel like with the shorts, I'm finally getting some lift. So it's all about pulling the short material up, and you can see how tight they are. But because of the scrunch is so thick, it almost kind of reminds me of the, not quite, but kind of reminds me of the Gymshark Lift Seamless scrunch that like, it just is never going to really disappear between the cheeks, but it still provides like some separation. Interesting. Okay, so here they are, and I'm definitely getting that compression in these. So we have that mid to high rise, and just showing so much belly button is just not something that I am really used to doing, especially in a straight across waistband. If I'm showing some belly button in a little cross waist, that's normal for me. But, you know, when I first filmed this review, I feel like I had never worn a legging to the gym that was actually below my natural waist, but now that this is like a year later, I feel like I'm a little more comfortable with it, and people are looking for different rises now. So more of a mid to high rise here. We have that 3-tiered compression waistband. It does dip down a little bit in the front, and these are overall a compressive short. So overall, I'm feeling high compression, especially in the thighs. These are tight in the thighs. True to size, if you're in between, I'd probably size up, but again, they are supposed to be compressive. So the thigh area, I'm really glad to have this 6.5 inch, because if I had the 4 inch, they're so compressive that they would just roll right up. And then we see that little compressive area. So I feel like this happens on everyone, but the compressive area actually comes onto the glute a little bit, but it doesn't like squish your glute in a weird way. I do feel like that compressive lift. And this is something I often see with these leggings, but I feel like they just make everyone's glutes look like they're just like squished out like that. And I'm just not always wearing a shapewear compressive legging. Again, I feel like it can cause some body dysmorphia because you take them off and you're like, did I actually look like that? So I try not to wear these very often. We have that seam above the glutes. I know that these are a more short glute friendly option if that's something you're looking for. High in the booty scale, this area here is nice and thin, again, so it doesn't really squish you down. This yellow is going to be a little bit sheer, so we'll squat test these. And the under glute area is super high compression. You can see it's sausaging my thighs a little bit, but because they're a longer inseam, it's going a little bit lower. And because the fabric is more dense in this area, it does give some cellulite coverage. So I am gonna give these a high on the booty scale. I do think, especially with the shorts, they are glute lifting, but I don't necessarily like the shape that they're making my glutes. I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like it's not really what I'm looking for. Someone let me know if you also experience this, where it just kind of like makes your glutes look kind of like short in the back. I don't know. It just doesn't really suit my body, I don't think. But I am liking how the shorts fit more than the leggings. And then I was also very excited to try this top. This is the Impact Longline Strappy Top, size small, $52. Kind of up there for a top, honestly, when the shorts are like the same price. But I feel like Dfyne's tops have also kind of been making a name for them, because I've definitely seen this shift away in the past year and a half from crops all the time to wanting more full length, or at least kind of meet and greet length tops. So the length of this top is definitely very appealing. We have this V neckline. It's made of that same seamless fabric as the leggings, so it has some good density to it. And then we have some panels and scrunch details that the leggings incorporate just to kind of define the bust a little bit. So we have a little scrunch between the bust, and then there's also a little contour paneling under the bust there. Can we end the halter trend, please? My neck is tired, and honestly, in the age of cell phones, I do not need anything to be like encouraging my neck to be like that. As someone who grew up doing ballet for 15 years, my ballet teacher would not let us wear halter leotards because they interfere with your posture. So I don't want any more halters. This is not just Dfyne, this is like everyone, but stop with the halters. Full built-in shelf liner with removable cups. Love to see it. So many brands will just like not put in the shelf bra. Dfyne logo on the back. Let's try it on. Really liking this top. I feel like little tops like this are never snug enough along the waist, but this is also still yellow. Kind of falling for the yellow outfit, guys. Do I love the shorts? No, but the fit together, I'm liking it. So anyways, we have this, it's actually more of a high hip length top. As a long torso girly, this is my preferred length, especially since the shorts are more like almost mid-rise. It actually is doing a little meet and greet. If we had a traditional meet and greet length top that's kind of more waist length, I would still be showing skin. So really love the length of this. It's also giving some hold and compression in the waist area, which again, don't normally get in tops like this. Normally I have to size down in order to get any sort of snugness in the waist. So it's true to size and definitely snug fitting, but I'm loving it. Also super flattering in the bust area. We have that built-in bra that's actually giving decent support. Again, I would have preferred it if it wasn't a halter top, but because I'm liking the fit so much, it's really not a deal breaker. So we have that scrunch in the middle. We have that V-neck in the front. But the cups are definitely a little bit on the firm side. I can take the cups out in a second and show you guys. But then we also have that under bust contour. It's just really contouring the girls, and honestly, anything that makes the girls look good. A sports bra. There are too many bras these days that just like flatten me and don't do what I want them to do. So in terms of coverage, I'm gonna go with low to medium coverage. I definitely do get a little bit of side boob, peep of cleavage, but I think I would actually be okay with this at the gym. The support is low to medium, a little bit better than I expected. And then we have some little compressive panels down the side and on the back as well. And then I love how this sits right below the lats, so it's not getting in the way of my back muscles there. I just feel like tops like this are so popular right now, and honestly, this one did a really good job. I'm really liking it. And again, we have that full built-in bra on the inside. And because the fabric is a little bit thicker on this inside part, it gives it a little bit of extra support. Normally there's some sort of like mesh lining, but that's like the full seamless fabric. So, okay. I'm a big fan. Then the last couple pieces are their dynamic pieces. I definitely wanted to stick to their most popular items. So the dynamic leggings, I got a size small, $59. I have reviewed these a lot on this channel because these are the same as the Suuksess leggings. We have another sewn-on waistband, but this time it's only one layer of ribbed compression. No front seam. This is going to be your more like ultra high-rise option compared to the Impact, which is a more mid-rise option. Slightly contoured seams in the back. More of a classic scrunch going on here, but we still get that slightly thinner fabric around the glutes and that slightly more compressive area below the glutes. Here's an up-close of that waistband. You can see just single layer of ribbing, and the scrunch is more of a typical scrunch compared to the Impact leggings that is a little bit different. So let's try these on. Here are the leggings with seamless, especially with Dfyne. I feel like I've seen a lot of people posting about how the color differences can be pretty dramatic, and I do feel like this color specifically is a lot stretchier than the dynamic leggings I've tried from them in the past. So just keep that in mind. I would say still overall true to size. Again, these are like my OG Suuksess leggings. We have an ultra high rise waistband, about an inch higher than the impact leggings, but because these are just a little bit thinner, a little bit stretchier, they do go up a little bit higher. Single layer of ribbed contouring on the waistband. Not as much lower tummy control on this one because it doesn't really dip down, but we have no front seam, kind of that more dense seamless fabric. And then I just feel like this one is more of a contour in appearance, but not actually lifting. I never really felt like the Suuksess leggings were really a lifting legging either. So if you just kind of like the look of this seamless legging, but you don't want the difficulty of getting them on like the impact leggings, these are still a little bit more challenging to get on than a normal seamless legging, but I didn't get any rug burn on my hands doing it. So that's definitely a pro. A little bit of contour, very subtle around the edge, but again, not really getting a lot of compression. You still do get a little cellulite coverage because the fabric is a little bit more dense in the thigh area, but stretchy around the glutes. And then you have that scrunch. And I've always said this with the Suuksess leggings as well, is that it gets really tight when you squat. So it just feels like a rope going up your cheeks. So if you don't like a wedgie feeling, you've been warned. These are definitely going to give you that. These are a little bit more long glute friendly, a little bit more long torso friendly compared to the impact leggings as well. These are also only a 23-inch inseam. Seamless leggings, they tend to just be a shorter inseam because they have more vertical stretch. But because this fabric is a little bit more dense and not quite as stretchy, I'm not quite getting a full length out of them. So for me, when it comes to the dynamic leggings, I'm just gonna go with my OG Suuksess leggings because I had them before literally any of this, and even still, I don't really reach for those very often. Again, I just prefer a stretchier legging. These ones are more of a medium to high compression instead of high compression like the impact. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Dynamic or impact? Which ones look better? I wanted to get a sports bra that went with those leggings. So I have the dynamic high neck backless sports bra, size small, $42. Again, made of that dense seamless material, logo right front and center chest. Sometimes Alphalete does this too, and I'm like, can we put it on the back? There are removable cups and they have that stitching to prevent them from moving around, which I find very important in a high neck bra because if they didn't have the stitching, the cup padding would like literally be up at like your clavicle, and that's not the look. So I like that they have that extra stitching. Sometimes we don't see that in seamless pieces. And then very open crisscross back with these teeny tiny little strap in the back. So definitely gonna be a little bit more of a high coverage option compared to the other bra, but you still have that little open back effect. So let's try this on. I don't know why I just had this like sudden epiphany that this looks like a Speedo swim top. Like I bet there's a Speedo top out there that has the Speedo logo right there that looks like this. For some reason, the blue, it's just giving swim team. I actually wanted to like this one. I thought I was going to like this better than the halter, but it's actually worse. So first of all, kind of true to size, but also just like the way that this one's designed, it's almost just like a piece of fabric that's kind of stiff and rigid because that's what the seamless is. And then just connected by little itty bitty straps in the back. I'm filling out the cup area where the bust goes, but everything else just like doesn't really contour the body well. It's just not fitting well. I just feel like the design isn't really working with the back. I feel like the only way that this works is if you have a very small bust and you just size down and just like have it just like glue to your torso, but it's just not doing it for me. I appreciate that they have that sewn on under bust elastic area that allows it to sit nicely under the bust. Again, front center logo, just not my thing. Very high neck, and the first thing I felt when putting this on was just how rough these straps are. Again, with this kind of seamless, if you are someone who really likes soft fabrics, you're not going to like this because I feel like I can already feel the straps cutting into me, and I literally put this on 2 minutes ago. So it's simultaneously loose in the front, but incredibly tight over my traps up here. And the straps are made of that seamless material, but they also have a lot of stitching in them, so they don't have any give to them. So they're just a little bit rough and uncomfortable. And then you just have a little strap along the bottom there. Again, no elasticity to it really. So just not really getting the kind of lift that I normally want out of a sports bra. I don't know. The design on this one is just off for me. I thought I would like this better. Pinto! Pinto! We have a spring! We have a spring! Thank you! Oh, and it's a blue spring because I'm wearing blue. How smart. Pinto has not played springs in a while, so let's get him going. Pins, come on. Come on. Buddy, we have to play. You didn't bring me a spring so that we didn't play. Okay, let's go. Yeah, come on. There you go. Okay. Okay, anyway, final ratings. Full coverage, but I feel like you can kind of see through the side here. It's still full coverage though, and the support is low on this one. And lastly, they had some cute jackets. So they call this the Dfyne zippy, which I saw people calling this the dynamic zippy, and I was like, what's the actual name? I thought they were just like being cute, but no, it's actually called the dynamic zippy. So you guys know I love a zip up jacket. No pockets. I love a zip up jacket, but I hate when a zip up jacket does not have zip pockets. Like, that's the best part of having an active jacket, is the security of zip pockets. So this is still a 90% nylon, 10% elastane. It does feel a little bit more lightweight and stretchy compared to the legging material. We have a mock neck, Dfyne logo on the left kind of shoulder area. Full zip with the Dfyne branding on the zipper as well. We have some side ribbing details. Dfyne logo on the back as well. Again, every piece, we have to have 2 logos. Do we need to have 2 logos? And then long sleeves and also no thumb holes. So a little bit of a bummer. The jacket is $65. With the jacket being $65, I do like to see some extra features like zip pockets, thumb holes, cuffins, just like a little bit of something, because this is just a shirt that zips up, which some people are not looking for those features. For me, I love a thumb hole. I love a zip pocket. So let's try it on. Time for the zippy. The fabric of this jacket, it just is a lot lower compression than the leggings. I feel like the main jacket fabric feels like the glute fabric of the bottoms. So a little bit less compression and a little bit thinner and stretchier, but technically still the same fabric composition. All right, sleeve length is good. It is going over my wrists a little bit, so I like that. Again, would have loved to see a thumb hole. It's snug on the sleeves. Again, I kind of see this as a long sleeve top that is a zip up, not really like a jacket, so I wouldn't imagine layering a lot of things underneath this. Zipping it up halfway, I'd say it's pretty body skimming, not skin tight. I do have just the tiniest bit of space compared to the tank. The tank was a little bit more of a compressive fit. That was a little bit thicker of a fabric. This is a little bit thinner, so you probably could size down if you really want that snatching fit, but I do think this is mostly true to size. It's hitting high hip, which again, loving the length that they're doing on their items. The zipper feels pretty good as well. It's a nice metal zipper, not plastic. And then if we zip it all the way up, it's got a little bit of a mock neck situation going on. We have the logo front left. Again, just don't love it's giving like college athlete branding. And I just don't love it when it's like front and center like this, or not center, but just like, you know, put it in the bottom, put it in the back. Maybe I'm alone on that. I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm not really getting BBL jacket fit because it just doesn't have a lot of compression or thickness. And I would have really loved to see a pocket somewhere, just because why have a jacket not gonna have a pocket? So true to size. I really like the length of it. And then the back is just very simple and plain as well. We do have that little ribbed panel on the side. It's not really doing very much and you don't see it very often. So I'd say I like this one. I don't love it. I don't really feel like it's anything special. Like I felt like the top, like the Impact longline top, loved how that fit. I felt like it was very unique. This, I feel like I'm just wanting a little bit more. Okay guys, that is it for my review. Hopefully I actually post this one. Overall, I just feel like the styles are just not really something I personally reach for. Everyone has their different preferences with leggings, and I just prefer something with a little bit more stretch that I could really feel like I can move around in a little bit better. Also for something like the Impact leggings, then they're just a little bit lower rise than I personally like as someone with a long torso. The Impact longline tank though, I thought that was great. Something that I really haven't seen very much in other brands. I loved that the waist was actually compressive. I loved the length of it. I felt like the contouring on the bust was really flattering. So yeah, if we have any takeaways from this video, it's that sometimes there are brands that white label dropship. I'm not really sure if that's what's still going on with Dfyne. I can't even be certain that it was ever really happening. Do I suspect that? Yes. But there are definitely original pieces now that I've definitely seen Dfyne getting before Aliexpress or that you can't even find on Aliexpress. So I hope this video was informative. Let me know if you guys have tried the brand, if you like them. If you're kind of with me and not really understanding the hype too much, I think they're fine, but they're just like blowing up. And personally, after this haul, I'm not really enticed to buy really a whole lot more. I liked that tank again, but I don't love the bottoms to pair with it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe if you're not already. We love to chat activewear around here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.